choking is a real thing in my life. It's something that really does come up from time to time. I've had experience with it. It's scary. It really can kill you. And I've had this conversation with my daughter 100 cajillion times. She continues to stuff her face full of food, and I'll catch her and I'll admonish her. I want you to spit half of that out right now. Right now, spit half of it out. She'll spit half of it out, and she knows she's in trouble. Other times, it's just that she's been chewing on it for like 5 minutes. She's playing, she's doing things, she's jumping up and down, or she's dancing. And I say, are you dancing? Are you really dancing with food in your mouth? And she looks at me like, oops. And I say, I want you to swallow that food right now and turn the music off. So this is an ongoing thing. Now, I promised you I'd tell you how I flubbed up and made a big mistake. The other night, spaghetti and meatballs. We're eating spaghetti and meatballs, and I said, she wanted ice cream and candy and some other things. And I said, well, I'll tell you what. I said, if you finish that one meatball, that one meatball right there on your plate. She says, that whole meatball? I said, yes. You got to eat the whole meatball. You eat the whole meatball, and then you're done with supper, and you can have ice cream. Or I can't remember what it was. So I turn around. I'm doing some things, and I turn back around. Her face is stuffed. These were not tiny meatballs. These were big meatballs. And she had stuffed the entire meatball, which is about a quarter of the size of her little head, and she had stuffed it into her mouth. And I sat there watching her in disbelief, like, I cannot believe that she has just done this. And I'm watching her, and she's just chew, 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 chew. Finally, I could not take it anymore. I told her, you spit that out right now. She looked at me like, what did I do wrong? And that was my first cue that maybe I was missing something here. She spit it out. I started into her. I can't believe you did that. And you know, we've had this conversation a million times, blah, blah, blah. I'm going on, being a real jerk about it. And she's not saying anything. The way she's looking at me is like shock. And then that was the second thing. First of all, it was her immediate reaction to me calling her out about it. Then it was the fact that as I'm giving it to her, this thing that she should absolutely understand why I'm mad about, and that I'm justified in being upset about, she seems confused about. And that's when it occurred to me that there has to be something I'm missing here. So there was my big mistake. Jumping straight into my angry response. And because I realized that something was off, I started asking her some questions. I said, honey, first of all, I'm only concerned about your well-being. Is the only reason why this is even an issue for me. But I feel like I'm missing something here. And now, my voice has come way down. Why did you do that? Well, she says, you told me I had to eat the whole thing. And that's when I realized that when I had told her she had to eat, when she asked me, I have to eat the whole albondiga, the whole meatball. What she literally, in her young mind, what she was asking me was, like, you want me to stick this whole meatball in my mouth? I have to eat the whole thing, like all at once? And what was my answer? My answer was yes. You need to eat the whole meatball. And so now I'm answering her, and what is she hearing? I have to stick this whole meatball in my mouth. When I realized that, my anger completely went away. Now I've got context. Now I realize, and frankly, I could completely understand her at her age, misunderstanding the messaging that I was giving her. My communication, it was a miscommunication. And she's upset now. Her feelings are hurt because I started to get mad at her, and she didn't immediately understand why. Can you imagine from her where she's sitting? I've just told her to do something. She thinks she has followed my instructions to a T, and it's even something she didn't want to do. But she believes that she has followed my direction to a T, and yet here I am still angry at her. Oh, my heart broke. My heart broke thinking about that. From her perspective, I just did exactly what Daddy asked me to do. And now I'm in trouble for something, and I'm confused. I don't even know what's going on right now. All the while, she got this enormous albondiga, this meatball in her mouth that she barely fits in there, and she's trying to chew that thing. My heart broke. So we had a conversation there. First of all, I started asking her questions like, did you think I was saying this? Did you think I was saying you needed to put the whole meatball in your mouth? Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh my goodness. I said, well, I got to process this for a minute, honey. And I thought about it, and I thought about how she must have felt. And do you know how I just described to you how I imagined that made her feel, and that confusion and everything? I said, it must have been really confusing for you, for me to tell you to put the thing in your mouth or to eat the whole thing, and then you feel like you're doing exactly what Daddy wants, and then you must have felt like this and you must have felt like that. And she's saying, yes, Daddy, that's how I felt. That's how I felt. And I felt like this. And my heart broke some more. So I told her I should have asked some questions. I should not have just jumped to the worst possible conclusion. That I made a mistake, and that she hadn't done anything wrong. I also told her that it's my desire to be the perfect parent. That I love her so much that every time I make a mistake like that, I truly regret it, and it truly hurts my feelings, because I know it hurts her feelings. And if I could avoid making any mistakes at all, I would. I assured her of that. But I also assured her that that's never going to be possible, and that I'm so grateful to her that she's patient with me, she's forgiven of me, and takes time to consider that I have her best interests in mind, even when I'm angry. So I took responsibility quickly. I was quick to consider that perhaps there was something I was overlooking. I listened to the cues I was getting from this little creature that I love, the facial expression, the look of confusion. I used that to help me pause myself and try to get more context. Even though it seemed like a cut and dry case of just the same old, this issue that we're always dealing with. And that's how it all worked out. I was quick to forgive her, thanked her for being patient with me and forgiving me and understanding when I get things wrong. So that's how I handled that. And now you've got the story of the big mistake I made in the last couple of weeks as a parent. And what do you think I could do if I were unhealthy? Well, I could use that to say, look what a crappy parent you are. But what do I tell myself instead? Perfection is unattainable. I'm always going to make mistakes. How do I handle those mistakes? A mistake here and there is okay, as long as I get the big things right.